In looking at that diagram of the Ottawa Charter for Health Promotion earlier in this talk, we um, briefly focused on the role of the health promoters. So essentially we mentioned three roles, three major roles: advocate, enable, and mediate. So advocate means getting the message out about the health issue, enable the communities and individuals to take control over their future, their health, and also to work towards achieving their full health potential, but also bearing in mind that with each issue there's going to be competing interests, and so the health promoter's job often, or health promotion, is to look at the competing interests and try to mediate a pathway forward between the competing interests. Now this contrasts greatly to the more traditional approach, which is to dictate, rule, and blame the victim. So, an example of blaming victims is, for example, children are becoming more and more overweight and obese because the parents don't pay enough attention to the issue. That's basically blaming the victim. Or somebody is overweight because they're lazy and they don't care. Not because there's too much advertising on television or the right foods aren't placed in front of them, or they never even knew that they needed to watch their weight. So basically this is a very negative, blame the victim, individual focused, and unsuccessful way to promote health. So what I want to do is one or two case studies. The first case study is looking at the issue of road trauma. Now road trauma, motor vehicle accidents, are one of the major causes of years of life lost in the Australian community. There's a very tragic statistic in the 18 to 25 year age groups, which are generally the most creative and energetic times of people's lives. We've got this life cycle where we go through school until we're about 18 or so, and then we go to university for a few years, and then we work as young adults, and then our career expands. And so from a community perspective, we've had all this investment in children through their schooling. They're going to university, or they go and do an apprenticeship or get a job, and so they're starting to be productive members of the community. Now, if we lose these young people here, then we've invested all this money, all these resources, all these emotions in them, and really the communities receive nothing much in return. And so we need to facilitate getting these kids through those early years, and one of the most damaging processes is motor vehicle accidents. So that's the situation. You can see here that young adults, as I said, from these statistics, young adults have very much an overrepresentation in fatalities. So you can see here that that fatalities per capita are in this 17 to 24 year age group are much higher than the other age groups. So the statistics back that up. Now, what are the factors? What are the determinants? So we've got motor vehicle accidents. The next step in working out strategies for what to do about it, in fact that arrow should go the other way, but we're working backwards. So things like driver fatigue, drink driving, speeding, roads, black spots, motor vehicle safety, so how good your car is, and also attitudes of drivers. These are not exhaustive, but they're certainly the major issues. Now you can see here, for example, if we look at driver distraction, because every road fatality is actually investigated for the likely causes of that accident, to build a database of understanding this particular problem. And you can see here that that there's an increasing, that the trend is actually increasing, that in fact driver distraction or inattention was a key factor in fatal car crashes. So what might be the issues here that you might like to look at? Well, you might look at, say, for example, the number of people in the car. So there's some moves, for example, that adults between certain ages are not allowed, on P plates, are not allowed to drive with anybody else in the car. So, suffice to say that, okay, we've got a determinant driver distraction which leads to motor vehicle accidents. So we might look at the processes that actually lead to driver distraction. Another distraction might be mobile phones. Another distraction might be smoking, etc., etc.